Hello, my friends. Welcome to the sunlight zone. So, the sunlight zone is the first uppermost layer of the ocean. It receives most of the sunlight that filters into the ocean. And because of this, photosynthesis can be performed. Now, what is photosynthesis? It's how plants and other organisms use sunlight to create food from carbon dioxide and water. It brings the sunlight in, and then the cells use the sunlight to power it. Because the sunlight zone receives the most sunlight, the most life is found in this layer. There's a short little video we're going to watch about the sunlight zone. It's pretty interesting. There we go. Breaking it. There's some squid. So that's just a little bit about the sunlight zone. So the first critter we're going to talk about is sharks. So sharks are actually fish, believe it or not. They breathe water. They breathe in the water, so they use gills on the side of their necks to breathe the water. They have many, many rows of teeth, and when they lose a tooth, a new one grows back. They can have up to 3,000 teeth at one time. Most sharks have 6 fins. The large fin on the top of the shark's back is a dorsal fin. This fin helps it to swim and move. The shark's tail is helpful in the water too when it wants to swim fast. They use their tails to push them through the water, like this. There are over 500 species of sharks. Different sharks live in different areas. Some live in low, shallow area, like near the beach, and some live in deep waters. Some sharks stay in one area, but many migrate. And we know migrate means to move from place to place. Some sharks travel or migrate long distances to get their food or have babies, like great white sharks. Different species of sharks have their own ways to get food. Some sharks surprise the prey they're hunting. Some sharks eat from large schools of fish, and some sharks just swim through the ocean with their mouths open, eating as many fish as they can. Um, During Discovery Shark Week, usually they have a couple documentaries about the great whites in South Africa around the coast where the seals come and lay their babies and things. They like to come and eat there because it's good eating. So a shark's back or topside is usually dark to camouflage with the sea floor. And then the bottom of it, the underside, is white to camouflage the water at the surface. So when fish are trying to make sure that they're safe, it's more difficult to see the sharks that are coming for them. They have a very strong sense of smell, and this with camouflaging helps them hunt. They like to eat things like clams, fish, crabs, and other sharks. Some of them even eat whales and dolphins. And on occasion, sharks will attack humans, but it's very rare. Here is a video showing how sharks swim. In theory, here's a video on how sharks swim. Look how clear that water is. There's a shark. Ah. So these sharks are probably reef sharks. They're hanging around a coral reef because there's a lot of good eating right there. Because all these little fish are eating all the critters that live in the reef. Okay? So these sharks are finding some pretty good food. See if we can see any different sharks. Yeah. It's pretty neat, huh? So that's just a little bit about sharks, which you find in the sunlight area. The next one we're going to talk about is whales. Whales are the largest animals on Earth. Like sharks, whales have a dorsal fin on their back. Whales swim by using their tails and side flippers. Whales are not fish, so they do not have gills. They breathe air just like we do. They have to come to the surface and they breathe through a hole on top of their heads called a blowhole. They're mammals, which means baby whale calves grow inside their mommies and then they're taken care of until they're at least a year old. Mother whales give milks to their calves. Just like humans, cows, cats, dogs, whales have more in common with us than fish. There are many species of whales, but they all fall under two categories. They are baleen whales and toothed whales. Baleen whales open their mouths wide to trap plankton and krill from the seawater, which are itty bitty microscopic little critters. Toothed whales are predators to fish and small animals. Toothed whales use echolocation to hunt, kind of like bats. This means they bounce echoes or sounds off fish and other objects to find them. Whales live in large groups called pods. They live in every ocean around the world. And like sharks, they migrate. They eat a lot during the summer to build up their blubber, which is fat, a fat layer that keeps them warm. And then in the winter, they migrate to warmer places. When they travel, they can be seen breaching, which means they're jumping out of the water. It's really cool to see. Whale hunting is a threat to the whale population. Many people continue to save these precious ocean creatures. Whales are enormous. Some whales are bigger than school buses. Makes you feel really small in comparison. Oops. Here's a video of a whale that some divers happen to come across while swimming, and the whole time they're hearing whale sounds. See if I can get to it. You hear that? That is a whale. There it is. It's a humpback. They're some of the biggest whales in the ocean. Could you imagine just swimming out in the ocean near a coral reef and you're hearing some whale sounds in this water? It's pretty neat. And then all of a sudden one appears. Could you imagine how cool that would be? Amazing. All right. So next up is dolphins. Dolphins are actually a member of the toothed whale family. They are gray with darker backs and lighter bellies, just like the shark to camouflage. There's 42 different species of dolphins, and they range in size from about 4 feet to 25 feet long. They also are mammals, and they breathe air. They have blowholes on top of their heads to come up to the surface to breathe. They're very quick and playful. They like to leap and spin out of the water. They're also very smart. They have good eyesight and hearing. They've been known to help other hurt sea animals and humans. The U.S. Navy even trains dolphins to rescue swimmers and locate underwater mines. So they live in groups called pods. They also use echolocation to communicate and to find food. They make sounds like clicks and whistles and squeaks. When they hunt prey, some of the dolphins in the group trap the schools of fish, and then they take turns eating the fish. They're predators to fish, squid, and many crustaceans. A crustacean is like a lobster or a crab or a shrimp. They have about 100 teeth, and they use them to catch fish and then swallow them whole. They live all over the world, mostly in the shallow ocean waters and warmer temperatures. But there are dolphins that live in rivers, freshwater dolphins, which is really cool. Um, so it's important that one of the big things to save the dolphins is do not litter plastic bags, nets, anything like that, um, because dolphins mistake those for their prey and they eat them and then they get really sick and they can die. Okay. So here's a video about dolphins swimming. In theory, there's a video about dolphin swimming. There's a lot of cool videos online depicting dolphins doing different things. Here's a mama and her baby. swimming with whales, no less. So that's just some information about dolphins. Next, we're going to talk about clownfish. But we're going to pause right here and do a second part so that our videos aren't too long. The next part will start with our clownfish. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys.